this is the one. Ugh, I'm thirsty. I probably shouldn't. I probably should have got my water before I hit the stream button. But I don't care. It's not like anyone's going to watch. Okay. Oh boy, look at that. 6 gold. Sheesh. That's a lot of buckaroos. Sup. Hello, Mr. Hero. Hello, Broken. Mighty fine day we have. Don't you think? I'm here for another top 10 moment. Whoa. Well, unfortunately, I'm kind of boring, so you probably won't find anything too exciting. I say... Oh god. No one is selling these? 3 spirit, 3 stamina? I can't imagine anyone would want to buy this. Those don't seem like good stats. I might just lose out money on the deposit. Let's put it up for 40 silvers in 24 hours, and if it doesn't sell, then, well, shit. Doesn't sell, you know? Let's put this one up for 50 silvers as well. If it doesn't sell, well, shit, whatever, dude. Green fireworks? I think I'll keep this recipe. I think that's why I sent it over. Tin ore? Let's undercut this boy. And match my original price. Ruined leather scraps. I think I might have mailed this by mistake. I'm pretty sure I should just vendor it. Ooh, a sword with agility and stamina. I think I can set this one for 1 gold and see if it sells. Play in the auction house? I'm not playing the auction house. I'm just selling shit I got from my journeys. There's a difference. That's how I've made 24 gold so far. So yeah, you could say I'm kind of a big deal. Hot loin chops. Ooh, a tin bar, huh? What do these sell for? Not very much. Hot loin chops. I don't think anyone's buying this. I'll try selling it one more time, though. Hi, Hero. You're not boring. Well, I mean, boring in the sense of, like, you know, nothing exciting's gonna happen for a highlights video, you know? It's just gonna be some chill leveling in which I ramble about something stupid, probably. I think this didn't sell, so I just need to sell it to the vendor. Here, top 10 anime, please.
Hello.
I actually wrote that down. You want to know what my top 10 animes are?
Goodbye.
Let me open it up. That's not the right one. Top 10 animes. Videos to be made. Where is it at? Did I name it my top? Oh yeah, I did. My top 10 anime stories of all time. Why the hell is it over there? Here, let me see if I can show it to y'all. Oops, that's the wrong button. I love how this is squashed. So, yeah, this is how I play my game. The top 10 anime stories of all time. Number 1, the Chimera Ant arc from Hunter x Hunter. Number 2, Spirit Circle, the entire manga. It's not an anime. Number 3, Welcome to the NHK. Most realistic depiction of depression I've ever seen in any form of media. And it's done very well and handled in an uplifting way. Madoka Magica. Watch till episode 3. Amazing. Steins Gate. The best time travel thing I've ever seen. World God Only Knows. Season 3. Surprisingly good. Wins the award for best anime that has the worst premise ever. if you read the premise for The World God Only Knows, you'll be like, wow, that sounds dumb as hell. And it's actually really good. Number 7, the Nadeko Medusa arc from Monogatari series 2nd season. It's just great. It has Kaiki, who's the best girl. Number 8, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. It's a manga only. It doesn't exist as an anime. It's also from the same author as Spirit Circle. So this guy is a genius writer, like legit. Number 9, the Phantom Trope arc from Hunter x Hunter. You know, I just realized I've been reading this backwards. Actually, you know what? Hey, 2 things from Hunter x Hunter. That should show you this is a really good anime, since 2 of the arcs made it in my top 10 stories of all time. Animes, anyway. And then number 10, I couldn't really choose, so I just added all of Code Geass Season 2, all of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, all of Fate Zero, and the Marineford arc from One Piece, because I love that shit. Although Water 7 might be better. I'm not really sure. Marineford or Water 7, they're both so good. One Piece has no... it has no reason being as good as it is, considering it's a long-running show. Too bad the arc after Chimera Ant arc and Hunter x Hunter suck balls. What? The arc after Chimera Ant arc is like 10 episodes long. That can't even really be considered an arc. It's like a mini arc. Anyways, let me go back to some pro WoW playing. You guys don't want to hear about stupid shit about... I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Oops, I lost it. Here it is. Hey, I actually people always ask me every time I stream, hey, why don't you stream on Twitch? And I updated it. I finally made a video that explains it in more detail. So now if someone asks, I can just be like, watch the video I made. Or also do the I command for Twitch. Where's High School DxD? Good one. My main level is level 36 or something. It's 2 a.m. for me, so here we go. Much better. Monogatari, where's High School? I mean, your videos help me sleep, but you're not boring? Oh, well, I think... Why, thank you. I will let you know, I don't, honestly think I'm a boring person or anything. I'm just saying, The stream itself is not going to be anything exciting. Hello, I found your channel 2 weeks ago and I've already blown through your content because it's so addictive. Man, I always say this every stream like that. I get that a lot. And the reason I get that a lot is because I designed my channel that way. Like, if you are rushing through everything I do, that's great because, I built my channel so that one day someone can watch all the videos. I really love the style I do with my videos. I don't care about, short-term growth because I'm always thinking, long-term with everything I put out. Because I basically bake it so, I make videos to keep the algorithm happy so it keeps recommending my videos. And all I have to do is just hook people onto a couple of my videos and then eventually they'll watch all of them. And that's why I have all of these detailed playlists for different ways to watch all of my backlog. I basically make the channel so that one day someone will watch all the channels once they discover it. And of course, still new videos because I need to add to that backlog. Every time I make a new video, it's like adding to a new backlog. And sometimes they'll do really well in the short term, which makes me happy. And if they don't, it's like, hey, that's just a video for the backlog, Wasn't even supposed to do so good. Which is not how normal YouTubers do it that I found. I remember, there were some YouTubers who I found, through their videos and stuff, and they, quit because they just kept chasing, the next big video. If their video wasn't their biggest video ever, every time they released one, they would get disappointed and then get demoralized and stop making videos. And I just thought that was crazy. I was like, why would you do that? Some of these channels weren't even current event channels. They had evergreen content like I do. And they were getting so discouraged that their videos weren't like the next best thing every time they released it. Videos were doing well, getting good views. But since it wasn't getting amazing views, it wasn't automatically becoming their next best video, they were getting disappointed. I was like, God damn it, no wonder they quit. They had unrealistic expectations for how to do things. Here, what are your thoughts on Log Horizon? I love it. I probably wouldn't put it in my top 10 though, but that's just because I've watched so many anime and manga that my list is like kind of really personalized. I don't put anything on there because it's popular. You know, like, there are a lot of great shows that everyone loves. You know, like Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop. And I won't put those in my personal top 10s because I don't care for them as much as the ones I actually do have on my list. That being said, I've just seen so many. Log Horizon's a definite good show, though. I'd recommend it. Here, confirmed Brainlet. Imagine putting Chimera Man arc above what York knew. Man, I have... the Chimera Ant arc is just, like, so good. And it doesn't seem like it should be. Like, the initial premise for it makes it seem like it should not be anywhere near as good as it ends up being. Because the show, it's like about these ants that eat people and then they gain their powers based on who they eat. And, you know, the king ant is born and he wants to rule the world, and that's the basic premise for it. And then the hero has to stop him. It's like, okay, that actually kind of sounds pretty dumb. I was not excited at all for the arc when it started because it just seemed really stupid. And it seemed like they were spending way too much time on it too. And I was like, God damn it, just get this over with. No one cares about stupid ants. And like, man, was I ever wrong. It was amazing. And the ending was just like perfect. Well, if you read the manga, it's like 50 chapters and it's 90% talking, no action. Oh my god. I remember the Chimera Ant arc. They spent so much time on this blind girl playing like a version of chess. And I just kept thinking, why are they wasting our time with this? And then, you know, because I know all these things, I was like, oh, you know, Shavak's gun or something. They won't say this unless it's relevant. But I could not for the life of me understand why, you know, a snot-nosed girl, because she always had like snot falling out of her nose too. She was kind of gross. I could never really understand why they devoted so much time to them just playing chess. And I thought it was kind of dumb. And I was like, okay, the York New arc was so good that I'm gonna finish this no matter what. Hopefully it gets more interesting. And that ended up being like the most important thing of the entire arc. Was the stupid little girl who always had snot fumbling out of her mouth. And it's done in such a way that it's just like masterful. It's like, my god, that guy is such a good writer. I didn't like that arc at all. That's totally fair. Like, the show itself sells itself on its action, and there's not very much... I mean, there is some really good action in that arc as well, but, you know, it's more about other things, especially since the reason, you know, the heroes end up living in the end is because of a snot-nosed girl who likes to play chess. Naruto versus Meruem and all that. Yeah, Naruto versus Meruem was really good. Like, that shit was amazing. I think I even made like an AMV of it. Has Taliesin ever said, and remember, my name is Roma Red X at the end of a video? I imagine so. Like, I would be surprised if they didn't. Because, like, I've been in 2 of their, you know, year-end review videos. Like, I was in their 2017 one when, you know, I still had more subscribers than them. You know, I've been on friendly terms with them for years. So I would assume I would have been in at least one of them. I say assume because I don't actually know off the top of my head. I don't really keep track of those kinds of things. Wow, these things actually hit pretty hard. What about Dark Continent arc? I mean, that one's still in the middle of it. It doesn't seem very good right now, But then again, I didn't think Chimera Antarg was good either at the beginning. Let's see, how about Shield Hero and Overlord? I like both of those. I read both of them. Like, Overlord, I liked it so much, I actually read the light novel after the first season finished. And they really butchered it in the third season. I was very disappointed by how they handled the goat scene. I still enjoyed it, though. I was just expecting more, and I was let down. But, you know, it was still alright. Berserk in One Piece will be over Hunter x Hunter is 2/3 though. What? Well, I mean, I've read Berserk as well, and I wouldn't put it in my top 10. It is an okay story. You know, it's not really my thing though, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. Looking at your Amazon store, how's the quality of the Logitech G60? Oh, that's the mouse I use. I fucking love it. It's so much better than the goddamn Razer Nagas that break after 6 months. Like, I've had one for a year, and then I finally had to replace it because I use them like crazy. And I just bought a new one, and they're so much cheaper too. Like, they're better quality, they're easier to program. You don't have to download that goddamn stupid Razer Synapse shit. And they last longer. Like, I would totally recommend them over a Razer Naga. Have you read Suk-un? No, I've never heard of that. Makes me wish it was an anime. What about Dark Continent? Main issue I have the arc is the pacing, but it turns I am the narrator and I'm telling you everything now. Man, the narrator was my favorite part. I wish there was more arcs that did that. I was very disappointed to hear how many people didn't like the narrator. In the Chimera and arc of Hunter x Hunter, in case other people don't know what I'm talking about. Usually people don't like it when I talk about anime on streams. The King's Avatar is so ready for season 2. I think I saw a couple episodes of the first season. I might be thinking of something else though. But here, what about the terrorists invade the school arc? Oh, are you talking about the Eminence and Shadow? Man, I love the Eminence and Shadow so much. I read the light novel as well. Why can't solo leveling? I'm surprised they're giving Tower of God an anime. I never thought they would do that. Tower of God's great. Tower of God recently, though. I haven't heard good things about it. Have you watched Promised Neverland? I read Promised Neverland before it even became an anime. But yeah, Promised Neverland's pretty good. Even if the pacing of the last arc has been very fast. I love how you stay true to yourself and make so goddamn good quality videos, except for some typos here or there. Hey, that's just how you know it's made by a real human and not a conglomerate machine, or not because I'm bad at spelling. No, it's the human element. Steel Series rivals 500 as God tier. How about Tales of Gods and Demons? No, I've never heard of it. I still have my Naga 1014, works perfect. Maybe I got lucky. I've gone through so many stupid Nagas that I was just willing to try something else. And I like the Logitech so much better. Cool thing about the Logitech too is you can program the mouse on its inboard memory. So if you take it to another computer, you don't have to worry about reprogramming all the buttons. My Nog's working fine and had it since Legion, but it was more the easiest one. My first mouth with more than 2 buttons. Man, you guys probably just don't play a lot of clicking games like I do. How are you guys not wearing your mouses out so fast? How about Apotheosis? No, I've never heard of it. Pronunciation wasn't close enough for suck on for my joke. Thoughts on Demon Slayer? Oh, I love Demon Slayer. After I was enjoying the anime well enough, and then they ended one of them on a cliffhanger, where I wanted to know what was happening right away, and I just broke and I started reading. So I'm now caught up to the manga, and it looks like they're getting towards the end already. I can't imagine them finishing after this arc. Weebs are strong in here. Now there's not too many weebs who also play WoW.
What's up? Have a good one.
That was it? Wow. What the hell? That was real easy. I guess that's why it told me to go over there. Oh, damn, I was just watching his top 10 list, didn't even know he was live. Yeah, it's a secret stream, don't tell anyone about it. Have you watched many abridged series? I've probably watched like all of them. The latest chapters are intense. Demon Slayer? Yeah, I'd agree. Is Rampage gonna still be a thing for tier 2 the spirit weapon items because I need it for my character? Yeah, like I'm gonna put in all the default ones. I don't really see a reason to change any of them. I like the Logitech G2 as well. Me too. My Razer Naga Trinity does that. If you start 20 feet away from a target, have advantage on attack. I know what it is. That was like one of the ones they showed as a, this is what we do kind of thing. I don't even use any kind of gaming mouse for gaming. I use for gaming some kind of crappy Microsoft mouse. Man, you are missing out. Just having like a couple of extra buttons is so helpful when playing a game with as many hotbars as well. I can play the entire game without having to touch the keyboard, thanks to how my mouse is programmed. Shrinking Justice, Shining Justice. I'm still using Kata Gaming Mouse. Man, you guys must take real good care of your mouse and not click very much. If you guys can still use them. Maybe I just edit too much. Maybe editing requires too much clicks. This is making me want to get back into anime. It's been years since I've watched any. Man, so many new good animes come out all the time. Like, I remember there was this new anime airing this season, and like after the second episode finished last week, I ended up just reading the entire manga. I couldn't wait. I was like, oh man, I need to see what happens next. Surprised you're streaming at 2 a.m.? It's a secret stream. Shh, don't tell anyone. Wow, keyboard lag, amazing. / me need to get a wired keyboard. Keyboard lag, oh. If you're gonna do any kind of PC gaming, you want wired everything. You don't want a wired mouse or keyboard for any kind of online gaming. Or gaming with computers in general. They made a new pistol on the internet in the Yeet cannon, so that's a thing. What? I got a G600 just for harding arenas. Man, you need yourself an MMO mouse. I'd highly recommend the one from my Amazon list, because I think they give me money every time you buy it from it. Or not, I don't know. It's more of a, people ask me sometimes, so it's nice to have it all on a list. Yo! I think Amazon actually constantly sends me messages about like, we're going to disable your account if you don't make any money. Keep it real. And then they never do. So it seems to be fine. Arrow Manga Sensei, 9 out of 10. Do I need to call the police? What's wrong with Arrow Manga Sensei? That's like, modern day Romeo and Juliet. Been using the same $5 mouse for 2 years now. It's nothing important, just a regular old mouse. I don't know how you guys don't break mouses every 6 months. You guys are crazy. 7 Deadly Sins new season is out. Did they make a season 3? 7 Deadly Sins goes really downhill. After the 10 Commandments arc.
Time is money, friend.
Like, currently I'm reading the manga every week, and I just kind of skip through all the pages to see if they finally beat the final boss, because it's so bad. And it sucks, because it used to be so good. I'm thinking of going ahead and watching Demon Slayer at some point. Could use another recommendation if you've got any. I have my anime list in the commonly asked questions thing of my... under the stream stuff.
Glad I could help.
Make Booty Bay your home.
Time is money, friend. Keep
Keep it real.
Time is money, my friend. Except upstairs inside the building on the top floor. Okie dokes. Will I be able to afford a mount once I hit max level? I mean, level 40? Nope. I need at least 90 gold.
See you around.
Let's see. I think they said it was at the top. So, right here, investigate the camp.
Hurry back!
Accept blood scale ears. Goblin fishing pole. Yeah, it's dynamite.
Keep it real. What's
Accept
up?
hostile takeover.
Hurry back!
I knew that might be a problem. Okay, so I need to abandon some quests. Dustwallow Marsh. I probably don't need this. I might have accepted it by mistake. I probably don't need this. Orgrimmar. I probably don't need Stone Talon Mountains. Okay.
Yo! Keep it real!
Keep your nose clean in my town.
Goblin sponsorship. Discover the Booty Bay flight point. And fly to Gromgol. Okay. Alright, I just had to play WoW for a little bit, so I had to stop reading chat. This afternoon, I read Mom, Please Don't Come Adventuring. That was pretty neat. Oh, I've read that one too. That one's pretty great. It's like about an overpowered dragon who has a kid who wants to be an adventurer, and she's a helicopter parent. So, shenanigans ensue. Top 10 Heroes' Favorite Anime. I just read that earlier in stream. I tend to get a mouse every year because one or two keys break, most commonly the middle mouse button. Yeah, I always like break the right mouse button or something. I have the Overwatch Razer Special Edition mouse and keyboard that Blizz released. It's purdy. Hey, if you like how it looks. Is your chest still fucked? It sure is. Talking about how you are nice, murderer. I'm starting to get a picture of how you messed up your hand so bad. Yeah. Like, you know, when I found out I had carpal tunnel, it made sense. I do lots of clicking. This is what happens when you're an epic gamer. I'm also secretly playing WoW. I woke up way earlier than usual, so I'm playing my secret Warlock ult so my guildies don't think I'm weird. Why would they think you're weird for playing a Warlock? Hello here, can't watch the streams because I'm at work, but I'm going to leave it on the other tab to keep listening. Sounds good to me. Have you watched Devilman Crybaby? No. I've tried watching anime and I really like some of them, but I can't get through any of them. Even Quintessential Quintet Blitz, and that's 13, I'm pretty sure. Maybe you don't like rom-coms? Because Quintessential Quintets is, you know, that's a very specific genre of anime. You might want to keep trying different genres until you find one you like.
For the whore.
You know, I'd recommend, you know, Death Note's a pretty good starter anime. It's very rare to find someone who doesn't like Death Note.
Farewell.
Let's see. Cool, the mouse on your Amazon, Logitech G60. I have G502. Zygor, what quest add-on? Yeah, it's Zygor. Why do you not get a notification for stream? It's because it's a secret stream, so obviously they're not going to have any notifications for it. What's the flight path add-on?
What you
I
want?
think that's just Zygor. Hunt for Yaniku? A doom there is. A doom on my chief's youngest son, Yaniku. As is custom with our people, he was given to Girabashi trolls of Zul'Gurub, but after my tribe, the Darkspear tribe, left with the Orc Thrall, poor Yaniku was lost to us. I was sent from distant Orgrimmar back to Stranglethorn to search for my chief's son, and I believe the Blood Scalp tribe has him. If you would help me, the hunt for the blood scalps, you might find them to the north. Gather their tusk and return to me. It's the Yaniku quest line. It's Yaniku. Ooh, I need to go turn in some quested thousand needles. I definitely don't need this. Is this a Dust Wallow Marsh? Goblin sponsorship? The Barrens? I think it sent me to the Barrens to get a quest. What about Stranglethorn, Orgrimmar? I need to abandon some of these quests. Abandon. Let's abandon this one. Might have accepted these by mistake. Okay, I should be able to hunt for Yaniku now. Except Bloody Bone Necklace. You may notice I'm not accepting all the quests, and that's because this guide is like specifically telling me to do, you know, very specific quests. Because the quests they give you in Classic WoW are kind of random. A lot of them they give you, you know, sometimes if you go to a questing hub and you accept all the quests, sometimes the quest will tell you to go to a different zone. Or they'll tell you to do something that's way too high level for you. So that's why I'm selectively accepting quests and stuff. You think they'll ever make another season of Steins Gate? I'd love to know if they cover some more of the darker timelines. They did. It's called Steins Gate 0. I still need to finish it. I only got like halfway through it before I caught up. And then I was like, I'll finish it some other time, and I keep forgetting to do that. From what I did watch of it, it was good. Atta boys, I'm out. Have fun. See ya. Whitemane is a great server. I was gonna join Whitemane and then it was too full. I would start with Erased. Erase is another good one. You know, that one came out recently though, so it doesn't really cross my mind to recommend that as like a starter anime, but you're absolutely right. That's a pretty good starter anime. Are the Darkspur trolls native to Stranglethorn then? I don't know. Maybe. I was just surprised it talked about Yaniku because I made a video on it. I still got notification for your stream anyway because I have full notifications on. You're not supposed to get a notification though. This is a secret stream. Enhance, less downtime. Take all the sponsorship quests. There's a bunch and they take you all over. No. I'd rather not. Keijo Fun Sports Show. Here, a certainly interesting way of describing that show. It is a fun sports show. Have you seen Keijo? It's about girls who knock each other off of platforms with their butts because they're not allowed to use their hands. Stream on Twitch. YouTube streaming is terrible. Feels bad, man. Hey, I finally made a video. I actually did that before stream. I was gonna stream a little bit earlier, but I was like, you know what? I should probably make that Twitch video that I'm always saying I'm gonna do. The one that explains why I stream on YouTube and not Twitch. And I finally did it. Enhance is pretty hard focused on RNG, so it can be a good or just utterly bad. What about Enhance? Is Classic better than BFA? I don't think so. I think they're both fun in their own ways. If I were gonna pick one, I definitely play more Classic. I mean BFA. With constant drinking's pushback, you'll never be very tired. I do want to level up a shaman eventually. I eventually want to level up every class. Leveling in Classic takes a long time though, so that's probably gonna take a couple of years. Let's see, these things count as beasts? Yes, they do. Let me turn on Track Beasts. Can't really see because my mic is covering up my mini-map anyway. The Darkspear fled Stranglethorn, I think. I'm not too sure about it. I'm pretty sure I explained it in the video I made on it, though. My phase when she activated her final magic to turn all humans on Earth into copies of herself to find her son. Yeah, she's crazy. Give me a shout out. Okay, monkey. My faves when she... Oh, I already read that. Yes. Which is better subjective? What are your play styles? What do you seek in WoW? Good question. I mean, I like to level up new characters. And I think leveling in Classic is more fun. But I also like to do endgame shit, and I like to play the auction house a little bit, and I like to raid. And raiding is just better in BFA. And I think only people who argue, you know, that Classic is better are like, you know, Classic purist. So if you wish to do raiding content, well, I mean, Classic raiding's pretty easy, so I'm sure there's a big audience for it. Is this your main? It sure is. If I had any intention of maining a character in Classic. I use that add-on as well. I behind the rest of the guild in leveling and caught up 4 levels thanks to Zygor. Heck yeah. It even tells me which talents to take. So I just listen to it, so I don't have to think. Zygor just tells me everything, and I level up fast. Any other worth farming spots, Stranglethorn, besides the Basilisk? Well, I'm not farming right now. I'm doing a quest. I don't even know if this is a good spot to farm if you're trying to do that. Redacted. Leveling isn't that hard. It's not really. Besides Steins Gate 0, because apparently it got a lot worse than 0 in the games. I mean, with how popular Steins Gate is, probably. That's like the only one I know of where they adapted multiple paths from a light novel. I kind of want to play the light novel so I can see what else happens on my own. But that's a lot of reading, you know? What's the add-on you use for scrolling combat text? In my case, scrolling battle text. Does your hand still hurt? Yes, my hand is still messed up. Hot hero, you nerd. Only level 35. Just kill the things better. I'm level 36 now, I think. Thank you very much. Yeah, I hit level 36 just like a minute ago. Get crunked. Your voice is soothing? Yeah, I hear that a lot. Can you even compare Classic and BFA? It feels like a totally different game. That's what I like to say. You know, you can't really compare them too well. Oh my god. I'd be able to do this easier if someone else hadn't already cleared out this area before I got here. Yo, love your vids. I would like to know if you could have a dream class in the game, what would it be? I don't know. I've never thought of that before. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. Like, I kind of already really like the Disc Priest. And I can't really think of anything, you know, else that I want other than just improving upon the Disc Priest. I kind of thought the question was like, did you have any... Okay, so like, you know, I had this weird dream last night where, like in the dream, is that an elite? Why is there an elite on the beach? Anyways, what was I talking about? Alright, I had a dream that Asmongold was watching my top 10 hardest raid boss remake video on his stream. And it seemed so real. And that was basically it. Was like, just watch it. And he kept like not watching it and doing other things, and he kept going back to it. And I just kept thinking, like, why is he watching that? That's like a 50-minute video. That's not really something to watch on a stream. And then I woke up. And I was like, why the hell did I have a dream about something like that? It's fucking weird, the things you dream about. It seems like it was, you know, I'm sure normal people do this too. Like, you have a dream and it's just you doing normal things. That's basically what it was. It was just any other normal day, except it was the 50-minute video. And I just thought it was really weird. I was like, why did I have a dream about that? I don't give a shit if he watches my videos. It's like, man, maybe I guess I was curious about what he thought about that one in particular. He has a boar and he would lose to get the croc. Tame the elite? I can't tame the elite. Classic, you only have 3 stable slots, and I would have to run back and stable. And I don't really want to lose this pet I have in the stable right now. Maybe I'll go over here for a bit and farm, since there doesn't seem to be any more crocs. What do you want to see in the game after Phase 6 is released? Burning Crusade or Classic Plus or something similar? I'd be all up for a Burning Crusade or Classic Plus. I don't really know if I have a preference. Some good starter animes are Cowboy Bebop, Fullmetal Alchemist, Brotherhood, My Hero Academia. I would disagree with Cowboy Bebop. It's really episodic. It doesn't really get across the point of like a continuous storyline. Plus, you know, what if you hate jazz like I do? And then you recommend that to someone and it's like very jazz based. Also, I would not recommend the original Fullmetal Alchemist over Brotherhood, and I wouldn't recommend watching both of them. It's like, you don't really need to. Brotherhood is way better. That is a fact. Let the debate commence. What's better, boar or croc? The boar is, obviously. You just watch videos longer than 50 minutes? Probably. It's a short quest chain, kind of like Nessaware, where you get the 5 leathers from low-level crocs, 2 from the higher ones, and the last part is one of these guys. Oh, okay. That makes sense. I was like, yeah, because I've done a couple of those already. Like, this isn't my first time in Stranglethorn. Like, Zygor has sent me here 2 other times already. It just makes me think, like, man, how varied are the quests here where Zygor has sent me here on 2 separate occasions? This is my 3rd time coming back to Stranglethorn. I really like Cowboy Bebop for the aesthetic, like Trigun, and I don't like the aesthetic either. I don't like the music. I don't like jazz. I don't really like the 90s art style of anime. You know, I like the pretty stuff. Unless it's a stylistic choice, you know? Like, Ping Pong the animation, or... Shit, what's the other one? The really good one that came out recently. Mob Psycho, yeah. You know, those ones have unique art styles to them. I like those. I don't really like the weird 90s aesthetic, though. Get crunked. To be honest, the anime I started on was Bleach, and I was all last a fanboy. Man, I love Bleach, too. Like, Bleach... The reason I started using YouTube was to watch Bleach episodes online. You know, to show you like how far ago it was that I did that, because YouTube used to be one of the best places to watch anime. No joke. It's almost comical to think of that nowadays. Why the hell is my pet doing this? To be honest, we need LFR in Classic. Hey, I'd be all for it. You know, I don't think LFR is a bad thing, like, is popular opinion. You know, there's a couple of things that are popular opinion in World of Warcraft that I personally don't agree with. You know, like, personally, I don't see anything wrong with LFR. And I think the reasons given for why it's wrong are just, not really strong enough to justify the amount of hate it gets. And also, I don't mind Titan forging that much, but I'm not, as strongly for Titan forging as I am for LFR. Like, I'll defend LFR. I'll say, it's great. It deserves to be in the game, and I'll give a bunch of reasons for it, too. Titan forging, not really. I don't mind it, but I would definitely not defend it. Hello, hero. Hey, look, it's Chapu. One of the few channel members I have. Those are rare. I absolutely love Mob Psycho. Yeah, Mob Psycho's great. Sorry, has been asked and answered, but what is your opinion on Neon Genesis Evangelion? I watched it too late. I kind of thought it was weird. Those are my opinions. That seems like something you need to watch before you've seen anime, because Neon Genesis was so influential that everything else copied it. So if you go back and watch Neon Genesis like after you've seen a whole bunch of anime, it just kind of seems generic. It's kind of like going back and watching Lord of the Rings after reading a whole bunch of fantasy. You think, oh, this is just generic as hell. It's like, yeah, that's because, that created the generic stuff. All of this originated from Lord of the Rings. That's basically Neon Genesis. So I kind of watched it too late. Wouldn't be classic too big if change. I love your content here once a week or so. I just play your uploads playlist on shuffle and go to sleep. Even watch the Pet Battle series. Man, I am glad I stopped doing news videos on this channel then, because those are probably pretty jarring to listen to. I have a whole bunch of playlists. They're kind of specific though. Maybe I'll create a playlist like all of my highly edited videos to fall asleep to. That sounds like a good idea. And I'd be like, recommended to play this on random. Okay, but what about Cats on Mars from Cowboy Bebop? I haven't actually finished it, to be honest. I don't like jazz. And I wasn't really into the episodic nature of Cowboy Bebop. So I watched like half of it and I got bored and I watched something else. Don't look here at 350 people in chat. Yeah, I don't know why. Thanks for the $2, Undercover Gale. Love your videos, so take some shekels. Why, thank you. Like whenever I stream on Yu-Gi-Oh!, the notifications like pop up immediately. I don't know why they're slower on my WoW YouTube stream. Because they're both done through YouTube.
Love your videos, so take some shekels.
And they're both done through the exact same service. Like Streamlabs. And for some reason, on the Yu-Gi-Oh! One, it reads them immediately. As soon as they're donated. And on the WoW one, it waits like 30 seconds. Titan Forging is the biggest shit show ever made, especially when you're a Mythic Raider. Yeah, like, there's arguments against Titan Forging that I agree with. But I also don't mind it, personally. But yeah, I'm not going to defend it. Like I would defend LFR, for example. Another unpopular feature of WoW that, I actually think is a benefit to the game. Hear me out for this. LFR. There are a lot of people who only get to experience raids through LFR. So they actually get to experience endgame content, whereas, everyone else probably wouldn't be able to. And this is also, because people, they have things to do. They have lives to live, and they also want to be part of the story. They want to witness it firsthand. Some people want to actually see, their characters defeating the final boss. But they also don't have time to join a guild or raid. Oops, I need to fill up my ammo. Looks like I ran out of my special ammo. And LFR is like the perfect way for people to actually experience the final boss. And also the gear from LFR isn't good enough for people who actually raid do it anyway. Like, you know, if you're doing heroic raiding or mythic raiding, you're not doing LFR anyway. Like, because the gear from there is worse than normal mode. So it existing so that other people get to experience the raids doesn't affect you very much. However, you know, asterisk. Because LFR exists, you know, they have to create 4 separate tiers of gear, which makes gear inflation happen more. Because they have to have gear for 4 separate modes. No, because of reforging. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who do LFR because of Titan forging. You know, I'm absolutely sure that happens. You don't need to, though. I don't think that's even really optimal use of your time. In Legion, you had to for legendaries. Yeah, the legendary system had a whole bunch of other problems that aren't really tied to LFR. But, you know, I've had lots of people tell me, like, the only way they get to experience raids is through LFR. And so they get really excited when the new wings come out. And they also, you know, LFR comes out after normal mode. You know, like weeks after normal mode. People have to wait like a month in order to see the final boss of a raid. Like, the way they do it is honestly pretty good.
Have a great rest of your night.
Thanks for the $50, Dirt Hugger 5000. Since that one was through like a direct donation, didn't show up in a thing. Actually, I think I make more money from direct donations than I do from super chats anyway. I forget what the cut is. Anyways, personally, I don't do LFR. Like, there's no reason to do LFR. I only do LFR on like alts if I need to get gear for them, and even then, it's not really an efficient way to get gear because of how long it takes. And you know, hey, if you want to see the raid, and you don't want to have to deal with the pug, and you can't commit to a guild, it's a good thing LFR exists, and that honestly, I think, keeps people playing the game. Like, you guys don't understand just how big the casual player base is. Like, you should go watch my video on, you know, the top 10 hardest raid bosses. I talk about kill percentages in the video. And in the video, you know, one of the facts I mentioned, this is basically a very well-known thing, but, you know, only 1% of the player base actually participates in mythic raiding. And 1% of the player base is not enough to support, you know, World of Warcraft. Large majority of the player base is casual. Casuals are what make your game. So, you know, getting rid of a feature that the casuals love is, you know, kind of stupid and really goes against, you know, trying to cater that. But the thing is, like, since the casuals have their mode, if they want to experience the raid, they can do it through LFR. And because they do that, they're able to make Mythic mode actually difficult. They don't have to balance everything around, you know, we want people to actually see the end boss. So we can't really make it too challenging. But since LFR exists, they're like, yeah, we don't really give a shit, you know. Here, we're going to create this because it gives people a drive. It gives people a goal. You know, they'll keep playing the game because they think, hey, maybe one day I'll do a Mythic raid. One day I'll clear, you know, a Mythic boss while it's still current content. I'm not going to do it now because I don't got time for that, but, you know, it exists. It's there. It's a goal. And psychologically speaking, that gets people to keep playing the game and they get to like it. Even though they'll never do it, the fact that it's available to them does keep people happy. It's the great, you know, psychology of video games. I love that kind of stuff. Kind of like how, well, I'm not going to get into any more than that. I've already had enough of a rant about LFR. No, because they are foraging in Legion. You had to do LFR for Legos. Joining a pug a disaster. Everyone is cancer. Man, I agree so hard. I'd counter that and say everyone has the time to join a guild. It takes a single button click. If you look around, you can find one. Raids around the times. You couldn't be super casual too. You know, sometimes people just have schedules where they can't do it. Like they only have, you know, maybe 2 hours of free time a day, and it's not always, something they can commit to. Sometimes people have like newborn babies that they have to watch. And, you have to constantly be attentive. You can play WoW casually for a little bit. If you need to drop out of an LFR, that's fine. But you just can't commit to a raid schedule. There's lots of different circumstances which mean people just can't raid even if they want to. People just have busy lives. And those busy people love to farm transmog and pets. And do LFR and like level new characters. There's a lot to do in WoW besides mythic raiding. That's kind of what's great about it. I even made a whole video about, things to do in the game if you don't do any endgame content. If you don't do Mythic Plus, you don't raid, you don't PvP. There's a video on like 10 other things you can do in the game that take up a ton of time. Most of them just involve grinding stuff though. Don't you have a Yu-Gi-Oh channel? I sure do. I have a second successful channel all about Yu-Gi-Oh. Do you have a good guild in BFA? I'm currently in a pretty good one. If I join a guild, there's nowhere I'm joining a raid team until months of practice. Just let me raid with them. I mean, there's like, my guild is specifically one where our goal is to try to get ahead of the curve on heroic mode. And that's it. Like, we don't even step into mythic raids. And that's what, like, most people just want to do. That's what I like to do, honestly. I used to do mythic raiding and stuff like that. Pushing for server first. But, my hand is fucked up. I can't really play WoW very much anymore. But I still want to raid and experience the fights and get footage of them. For future videos. And, I don't really have the time anymore to do it because I'd rather spend that time, making videos. So I love it that, after we get, ahead of the curve, we're basically done for that tier and I can use those days that I usually spend raiding to do something else. And it feels like I have new free time. And then when a new raid comes out, hey, I have a good raid team that's there and we're just gonna start working on that for the next few months. Not every raid team is trying to be mythic raiders. And luckily, there's a whole bunch of Discord servers that will point you to the direction of those kinds of new raids. Like, you just need to find these things on your own. You are amazing. Perfect for breakfast. What time is it? Oof. It's midnight. Yeah, I think it's time for me to close up shop pretty soon. Damn it, don't disarm me. One thing for sure about LFR is that you can enjoy being in the raid without having to change your schedule. You can enjoy the raid anytime you want without having to work around other people. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's people who want to experience the, the endgame content for themselves, but they just can't commit to a time. Because, busy lives, you got other things to do. Like, hey, what if you get a new girlfriend who wants to hang out all the time, but, their schedule's very sporadic. And, one of the best times to hang out would be during your raid time. Those kinds of situations. Sometimes you just want your schedule revolves around someone else as well. It's not just you. What if, the only time you could raid or have free time just happens to also be the time your new significant other had free time as well? Ooh, a food crate. Yu-Gi-Oh's fantasy card where you try to do 3,000 damage to your opponent. 3,000 damage? I mean, that's kind of low. Should I reroll to Horde? By the way, love your content. I mean, if you want. I think Alliance is better racials. For Classic, anyway. How would you get over your crippling social anxiety to join a guild? Been playing any other MMO for 300 hours and I still care to join one. I feel stupid for not having done it yet. Ooh, social anxiety. I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do. I'm a big proponent of just exposure therapy. Just do it. And eventually you'll stop caring about them too much. A great thing about social anxiety and everything is that, no one thinks about you as much as you think they do. In fact, you don't think about other people as much as you think about yourself. And then once you really, internalize that, it's much easier to have social situations in which you're not trying to be perfect. Because no one's perfect. And also, no one cares about you. Most people, when they talk to you, are just waiting for opportunities to talk about themselves. Like, you know, whenever I want to meet a new person and, you know, get to know them better, or, you know, just have a pleasant conversation, I always just ask them questions about themselves. That's honestly one of the best ways to have a conversation. You can never really go wrong with just asking them questions about themselves, but you have to do it in a way that doesn't make it seem like, you know, you're not part of the conversation either. And one of the best openers is asking someone how their week has been. You know, not their day, you know, not how they've been recently, especially if you're meeting someone who you've known for a long time and you haven't talked to them in a bit. You always just ask them how their week has been. Because if you're just talking to a friend you haven't talked to in 5 years, you're like, hey, what have you done in the last 5 years? You know, they'll think of their highlights. It's like, well, you know, I got married, I got a new job, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you ask them, how have you been in the past week? You know, because they have a lot of things they can think about. They can probably just tell you their daily schedule. It just opens up so many conversation opportunities. And then when they say something, it's like, oh, you know, I got new tires on my car. It's like, oh, what kind of car is it? You ask follow-up questions. You know, and they're like, oh, you know, this blue one is like, oh, I have, you know, a black car. You know, it leads into talking about yourself. It's like, and I have this car and blah, blah, blah. I paid $1,500 for it because I like to have a poor-looking car so that people don't try to rob me, even though I could afford a nicer one. You know, leads into more things. Why was I talking about? Oh, yeah, social anxiety. Conversation takes practice. People love to talk about themselves, so, you know, just go from there. 1,500, no, 1,500, not 15,000. So I would say practice conversations if you have social anxiety. The more confident you are in it, the less anxiety you'll have when you talk to people, because you can become an expert in it. I'd also really recommend the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. That book is fucking amazing. There's a reason it's a... Oops, I said a bad word. That book is freaking amazing, and there's a reason it's a classic. 5,000 for a poor car? 1,500. 1,500 is like pennies for a car. Would like to do a TBC Classic server? Heck yeah, I'd be all up for that. What do you think of the new Heritage armors? Oh, I don't really care too much about transmog. That being said, I have been waiting for a goddamn top hat for ages, so I'm gonna try to get that. Girlfriend, what are those? No loot? Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I say that as like an example of normie stuff. I've never had a girlfriend, so I just assume this is what people who are normal do. Nobody wants to talk to you. I can relate. Well, I mean, no one wants to talk to you. You have to like, force it. At my old job, when I worked in customer service, I made sure to get friendly with every single employee I worked with, and, you know, I was successful in getting them to like me 100% of the time. And, you know, most of them didn't want to talk to me. In fact, one of the girls straight up said, I hate you. She wasn't very nice. And even her, I got her to come around, and we became, you know, good work friends. So, like, it works. You just kind of have to, like, you know, sure, you might be inconveniencing them when you're talking to them, but so what? Like, who cares? You know, if the conversation's good enough, they won't give a shit. They won't care. Everybody loves to talk about themselves, but no one wants to only talk about themselves. You have to balance it in. And, you know, if you're persistent enough without being annoying, most people are totally fine with it. You know, most of the people I've known who are kind of annoying and always talk, they, you know, only like to talk about themselves, or they just are really bad at social cues and they'll go on and on about a topic you don't care about. It's like, ooh, I, you know, personally don't give a shit about cars, and that's a topic a lot of older men like to talk about, and I just don't care. And I've noticed a lot of them, you know, they'll just keep going on and droning about, like, you know, a new car they bought or something. I'm like, oh yeah, that's neat. I don't care about cars. I'll say that many times throughout the conversation, and they'll still keep going on and on about it. I was like, okay, yeah, so this is someone who just likes to talk, but isn't very good at having conversations. You know, there is a difference. Holy shit, she hated you after barely knowing you? Yeah, basically. You know, she's like one of those, you know, don't talk to me types. And, you know, I was even able to get her to eventually be friendly towards me. Just to show you that these techniques work on basically anyone. Well, techniques, more like, you know, proper conversational skills. How to be a socially responsible adult who knows how to engage with other people. Here must be a 90-year-old man. You know it. Because I don't have 500 bucks. What about 500 bucks? I'd kill for a bag transmog. Wait, what? You have a typo in your video description? Probably. If you tell me what it is, I'll be willing to fix it. Oh, shit. Okay, eggs. You're on your own. I didn't know there were so many enemies around. Oh, this guy's gonna die. No, he'll probably send his pet to die and then feign death as well. See? He's fine. Nice guy hero who doesn't dislike that hero person. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's people who didn't like me either way. Like, there's always just going to be people who don't like you for no reason, just because they kind of have a negative disposition towards life. But I just kind of see those as like a challenge. Every race not Pandarian is inferior. I mean, when you're right, you're right. How would you rate BFA as a whole with the final patch coming? They did a good job turning around. I thought the essences were great. You know, big criticism, they should have had that since the beginning. My BFA experience is just watching cinematics. It's the only thing fun about BFA. Yeah, I've heard some classes aren't very fun. I'm fortunate to not play one of those. Disc Priest is great. Shadow Priest was great too. When I had to switch to it, a raid tier to go DPS. I had a lot of fun as Shadow. And I wasn't expecting to because I really liked my Disc Priest. Can we start a Stranglethorn Veil? I'm 32 right now. What? Hero is a mind hacker? See, this is what you call having proper social skills? You know, these things can be learned. They just take practice. And, you know, like, actually knowing what you're doing. Because there's a difference between, like, practice when you don't know what you're doing, and practice when you know, are trying out new things. Because if you just practice and you have no idea what you're doing, you're not going to get better. Because you don't actually know what you're practicing. You're just doing random shit. You kind of have to have targeted practice of, you know, actually trying out new conversational techniques. Like, instead of asking someone, how is the weather, you ask them, well, my go-to is always, what have you been up to this week? That one is just so good. That's like a top tier opener, is what have you been up to in the past week? That I don't even have a second, because it always works so well. I'm sure I used to have more. I don't really talk to new people as much as I used to. Because it used to be, like, my old job, I would talk to, like, my fellow employees all the time. And I was talking to them at a position of, like, you know, we were on equal standing, or even slightly below. Because another factor I found that really helps with making you likable is kind of like a long-term strategy that takes a little bit of acting to pull off. I'd always slightly insinuate to them that I was kind of a weird guy. You know, just slightly weird. Not enough to be, you know, like, completely avoid them. And then slowly over time, I would start being less weird and be more normal. That way, I would lower their expectations of me and then just raise them. Because if you have, you know, too strong of impressions, you know, they can only go down as they get to know you better. But if you have low expectations at first, and then they only get raised over time, that makes it seem like they're liking you more than they really are. It's a very subtle technique that kind of takes a lot of practice to pull off. I wouldn't really recommend it to newbies, but I found it's very effective. Normal people exist. How do you be normal? Oh man, that is something I have been researching since I was a child. I'd always look at other people and see what normal people did and then try to emulate them. Because I was kind of a weird kid. So, you know, I know how to be normal better than actual normal people. I love your accent. I've never heard anything like it before. I think it's just a normal American accent. I'd still fuck up that question somehow. Hey, that's why you gotta practice it. You know, I didn't get this way by just being naturally good at it. If anything, I was bad at conversations. I used to think when I was a teenager that, you know, when I was a broody teenager, that the only reason I didn't talk to people was because small talk was useless. And the only reason to have a conversation was to discuss big ideas. So obviously I wasn't going to ask people about their day or what the weather was because I don't care about those kinds of things. They're not important topics to talk about. Unless we're talking about something big, you know, like philosophy or psychology or religion or politics, and it doesn't matter, and I don't need to talk. Which is really dumb, because you can actually learn more about someone through small talk. And that's kind of how you lead into bigger conversations, is through small talk. Small talk, learning how to be an expert at small talk is learning how to be good with people. You know, you lead into everything through small talk. Like even business meetings start off with a little bit of small talk. There's one manga called the topic Jaku or something. Oh man, this is starting to turn into just like, you know, how to make friends advice. See, brain hacks. You are weird for playing WoW at this time of night. It's a secret stream. Shh, don't tell anyone. Everything seems more pronounced. Americans generally like to regional, that makes sense, whereas yours is like a neutral, relaxing voice. Yeah, that's true. There are like regional dialects. You know, like southern people have like, you know, the southern drawl to it, or New Jersey people even have their own little accent. I'd say mine is more of the normal though. Normal people are only normal in social situations. In public, outside of that, everyone has quirks that are abnormal. You know, like, everyone is normal in their own normal way. The fact that everyone has their own little quirks is kind of normal in itself as well. You know, it's normal to be a little bit abnormal. And the best way to fake being normal is to create fake little quirks. You know, because you could have a quirk where, you know, you just constantly talk about your hobbies. You know, you go up to someone and be like, hey, have you ever played World of Warcraft before? And they'll be like, no. It's like, well, let me tell you everything about the lore and the new expansion and my ideas and opinions on it. And this is going to be our conversation for the next hour, and you are not going to enjoy it, but I sure as hell am. You know, that's a quirk. It's not a very endearing quirk, though. Another, you know, if you want to have an endearing quirk, you can, like, make those kinds of things where you talk about WoW. It's like, yeah, I love WoW. It's great. Also, you know, how was your week? You basically just tone it down a little bit. That's how you have an endearing quirk. It gives you artificial personality, but it also doesn't make you annoying. Normal is a facade. Exactly. If everyone is faking being normal, what is normal? Ah, you see, that's a question for sociologists. Normal is decided by kind of the majority. Normal is different depending on what part of the world you're in. Normal is being abnormal in normal ways. My favorite English dialogue is the one from Liverpool area. I don't think I've ever heard that. Yeah, same here in Scotland. Yeah, Scotland, they speak English different too. When you open the stream and hear talking about openers, I think, what kind of ability is asking about the week? Openers, you know, kind of like when you're hitting on someone, you should always tell them, it's like, did it hurt? And they'll be like, oh God. It's like, you know, when you fell out of angel? No, when you fell out of heaven because you're an angel. And you're like, God damn it, I messed that up. It's an enduring little quirk, messing up a very common, what are they called? Openers. Although I've heard the best openers are just to talk like a normal person, not actually to use pickup lines. I've heard, because I don't think I've ever actually had to use those before. Touche. Pickup lines. That's the word I was looking for. Google says normal is someone whose routine that they follow most days. I guess that's one version of normal. Thanks for the tips, Hero. I'm definitely going to steal an opener, but what happens if you need to initiate a conversation and it's still on cooldown? Basically, you know, if you want to initiate conversations, you have to remember that you are going to slightly inconvenience them and that it's okay. It's okay for you to take up someone's time. You know, because you need that practice. You need to talk to them. Most people are fine with it. Most people are polite. Even if they straight up tell you to your face they don't want to talk to you and that you're annoying, you know, which I've had happen to me before. Still try anyway. Just laugh it off. And as long as it doesn't get violent, it should be fine. You're too powerful to require pickup lines. Well, I mean, I've only ever asked out, like, I don't know, less than 5 people in my lifetime. You know, most of those were rejections, but none of them require pickup lines either. They were always people I'd known for a while. How's your week in cheap shot of IRL openers? See, South African dialect and Alabama dialects are pretty endearing. South African dialect, is it like a southern accent? What's Hare's dramas on Blizzard's drama? Oh, I'm not really informed enough to really have to care. Pickup lines, icebreakers. The best pickup lines are the ones where you just get yourself talking. Yeah, I've heard the best pickup lines are just, you know, normal conversation openers. Where you just start talking, you go up to them, it's like, hey, baby, how was your week this past week? And they're like, I don't know you and I don't wish to talk to you. It's like, yeah, that's understandable. I'm not very good looking. So, how was your week? He's like, ugh, get away from me, loser.
I can't carry anymore.
You know, that's how I assume these conversations would go if I initiated them. These are the kinds of things I think about in the shower. You know, when you go over conversations and these kinds of things normally, or, you know, right before you go to bed, those are the best places to practice conversations in your brain against a fictional version of yourself who is always very negative. Or is it just me? Am I the only one who's constantly negative to myself? If you initiate them and failed, what hope do we have? Hey, I mean, good point. Hey, you know, sometimes people just die alone. It's just something that happens. What are you gonna do about it? Leave your house and meet more people? Nonsense. Hi, Hero. Hello, Vike Dude. Shame I wasn't notified sooner. I honestly enjoy listening to you, Hero. Why, thank you. I'm gonna go now. What is talent tree is that point? Normal social opener. Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of openers online. Also, you know, read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm sure there's a chapter that goes over openers. You know, openers aren't very important. That's why I just use the same one. It's more about how you continue the conversation once it's started, because it's real easy to go into a dead end, especially if they're not very interested in the conversation. You know, where they give you one-word answers or they don't really care, or they just start grunting. There are ways to force them to talk more, which requires, you know, more advanced level techniques. Pay money to titty streamers so they send you panties. Easy. Hey, who told you about that? You're not supposed to know. This is a children's stream. Also, I wonder what the going prices are on those. Like, I wonder how much they would charge for that kind of thing. It would have to be thousands for it to be worth it. Because, like, that's a lot of hassle in order to, you know, mail that shit out. And to deal with the customers and stuff. But I'm wondering, like, I wonder if they do it for hundreds. Or, you know, maybe there's people who do it for less than 100. I wonder what the going prices are on those. I'm not super curious. But I wonder if there's anyone in here who's done that. I'd sell my soul for a pair of Sylvanas panties. See, exactly. Well, didn't that one chick charge $30 for bathwater? Bathwater's different. That's kind of a meme. I once tried to date once, then I overthought about the person and bailed. Yeah, I went on one date once, and it wasn't very enjoyable. I ended up just carrying the conversation the entire time. And then we just didn't really have good chemistry. So we just didn't really talk very much afterwards. You know, hey, but I got them to say yes to go on it in the first place. And they seemed pretty excited about it. It's just, you know, can't really help that we didn't have too much chemistry, I guess. Arthas also took over her organs. If you want them to talk about more interesting conversations, make them talk about themselves and listen. Well, I know, that's a given. There's like more to it than that, but I guess that does bear repeating. You know, because I've been talking about this for so long, there's probably people who have joined into the stream before I started talking about, you know, the very beginning. Like, the number one thing when you're talking to someone is to talk about their favorite subject. And most people's favorite subject is themselves, even if they're not, you know, egocentric or they don't even think about it. Most people like to talk about themselves. And you can hardly ever go wrong just asking them questions about them, but you kind of have to know which questions to ask. You can't be super specific. You can't go up to, like, you know, a girl you fancy and be like, hey, what time do you go to work every day? It's like, whoa, that's a pretty stalkerish question. Or it's like, hey, what color are the panties you're wearing today? And it's like, that's not an okay question to ask. You should know. How do I know? Well, I mean, that's just kind of a social thing. That's just one of those things you have to know that you're not allowed to ask. Kind of like asking about cup sizes. Can we get a preview of the more advanced techniques, because I could always use them to get more one-word answers? Read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like, seriously, the book should be called, you know, How to Have Good Conversations. Or alternative title, you know, How to Realistically Manipulate People. Because it's really good. If she ever takes off her gear, it's literally just specks of dead skin. Yeah, that's true. You know, that's why artists take liberties whenever depicting her in art. Okay, book. What time to join stream? Yeah. I do try to keep this PG. So, you know, let's get away from this topic. Let's see. The best way to find partners to keep playing some online game. You always do, and eventually, surely, it'll probably happen. I met my fiance that way, and we've been engaged for 4 years now. Man, you got lucky. I remember I met and fell in love with the girl, you know, in an online game, and that turned out terribly. It did not work out well at all. So, you know, sometimes there's success stories. Sometimes there's stories like mine where shit just hit the fan real hard. How are you? Ooh, how are you is a terrible question to ask. Don't do that, because it invites them to lie.
I can't carry anymore.
Baby, don't hurt me. Most of the time I just love listening to other people. If it's a topic I don't know / care about, I don't know. If it's a topic I truly don't care about, I don't really ask them more questions about it. Or if I'm talking to someone and they're talking about a topic I don't care about, I'll subtly mention in the conversation that I don't like the topic. And then it's really up to them to keep talking about it or not. Just don't get catfished. I guess catfishing is a concern as well. If I meet a new person alone, I'm super awkward and I don't talk about myself, but if I'm with a friend, meet someone new, I'm super social, but I still don't like to talk about myself. Yeah, when you talk about yourself, you know, like, here's a little thing, you know, I did talk to a lot of people at my old job. I got to know a lot of my fellow employees. And the main reason I went through all the trouble to learn all that stuff is because my favorite thing in the world is to talk about myself. And the best way to open conversation so that I can start talking about my actual target conversation is to get on friendly terms with them first. You know, once I put in the initial work and they're friendly towards me and they have a, you know, more than negative opinion about me, then the next time we have conversations, I can just start talking about myself and then occasionally pull the conversation towards them. That was always my ultimate goal, was to eventually just talk about me. And because that's my favorite thing to talk about. But that's not a really good thing to open up with. It's not something you really want to do very much when you're getting to know someone. You obviously don't want to not talk about yourself at all, because that's also kind of weird. You need to have a nice balance. You need to relate things they're talking about to things going on in your life, because it makes it seem like you're paying attention and that you care. And it also allows you to talk a little bit about yourself as well. I can't trust people online. That might be weird and like totes. Hey, you know, people online can be scary. Love is like the abusive boyfriend. It beats the living shit out of the wallet. I guess. I think the biggest issue is being social, one, talking to people, and two, I really need to finish my thoughts even if people don't care, and I should probably stop doing that. It just takes practice. A lot of people don't realize, or even if they're told, that social skills and conversational techniques can be learned, and that not everyone's good at it. Like, someone who takes the time to learn how to have proper conversations has a big leg up on the competition, whereas normal people don't ever try to improve their conversational skills. I wonder if I just fed my pet really rare fish, and I shouldn't have done that. I'm so close to finishing this quest. Once I do this quest, I'm going to get off the stream. Is it easier to talk to a potential partner online or IRL? I don't know. I have an easier time talking to people online. I mean, you know, IRL, because that's where all my experience is. You know, there's just things you can do in person that you can't really do online. You know, like subtleties, knowing the tone of their voice, you know, their body position. There's a lot of things you can pick up on that you just can't do online. And if anything, online is like hard mode. People can't hide stuff from you in person unless they're used to it. But online, it's real easy. Everything comes off as a lot more cold. My best partner is my computer. Man, me too. So you're basically grinding rep with them so they would talk to you in the long run? Yeah, actually, that's a really good way to put it. Gotta at least get revered to open about talking. Man, I've never thought of it in that way, but that is exactly what I did. Sounds like you're in the right boat to be a streamer. Yeah, I don't want to be a streamer, though. I like to talk about myself, but, you know, I get kind of tired of talking to people for too long. And it's more fun to be a YouTuber. So, you a Toby Keith, you know, let's talk about me song? Hell yeah. But, you know, I know how to transition things into it so that I'm not annoying about it. You know, it's like I have a big ego, but I'm also aware that I have a big ego. So, you know, I don't make it a problem. Conjure Biscuit. Mages are everyone's friend in Classic. And if the person doesn't want to talk, don't worry about it. There will be others. You can come back, preferably when they're in a better mood. Yeah. Here's How to Socialize 101 class has started. Man, my biggest advice is really just read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. That'll give you so much more advice than I could ever. It also takes to at least exalted reputation to mount them. Hey, not even really. Not for some people. You know, everybody has different reputation requirements. Free portals and food. I hate talking to people. I only desire to stare. Eyes tell all. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend just staring at people. They'll think you're creepy. Nearly till they want to bring me for the DPS or the food/water. Once you hit Exalted with a partner, the real grind begins. Yeah, you know, I'd like to get to the, you know, friendly part of that kind of reputation first. 10 in the morning, late night. It is late at night. So, Hero, how's your week been? Fine so far, I guess. Thanks for asking. Man, I have so many stories about what happened in the last week. So, like, on Saturday, actually on the weekends, I take time off. Like, I don't work on any videos on the weekend. And so, on Saturday, I decided to work a little bit on some Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos. Because I, kept feeling very productive for some reason. Like, all week, I was very unproductive. I just kept doing random shit instead of working. And then as soon as the weekend rolled around, where I knew for a fact I didn't have to do anything, I all of a sudden had like a million video ideas I wanted to work on. And I just kept things like, man, I don't want to like sit around and play classic or watch anime when I could be working because I have all this motivation and energy. And I was like, damn it, you know, the reason my mind is this way, like I knew what it was. I went to college for psychology. This is a very common phenomenon. Everybody has it. Have you ever been like late at night, you know, you're about to go to bed, or you're getting ready to go to bed, or it's just, you know, late at night, you don't have to be thinking about going to bed. And then all of a sudden you have all this motivation to turn your life around. You know, you think, I'm going to start going to the gym, I'm going to start a diet, I'm going to start working on that book, you know, I'm going to make YouTube videos, I'm going to get stream, I'm going to talk to that girl. You know, you get all this motivation. And then you like think, man, I'm going to totally do all this. And then you go to sleep and you wake up and it's just all gone. You don't want to do any of that shit anymore. And the reason you do that is because your mind is like, subconsciously, your mind knows you can't do all that. So it's able to feel all the gratification from committing to the ideas, you know, feel good about changing your life around without actually having to do it. And your mind loves to be lazy, and it also loves to feel good about itself. So it's just your brain tricking you because it knows, you know, you're not going to do any of this shit. But your conscious brain doesn't, and you have all this motivation. You're able to feel good about it without having to actually do anything. And that's why it's so common. And I knew this was happening to me. I was like, the only reason I want to work is because I know I'm not going to. Your brain is just really good at lying to yourself, even if you're not consciously trying to lie to yourself. That bastard brain of mine lying to yourself. Yeah, it's a very common phenomenon. If you ever wondered why that happens, why you feel so motivated at night and not in the morning, it's because your brain knows damn well sure it's not going to do any of it, you know, that night. So it's able to feel good about itself without actually having to put in any work. My motivation every day is to lie to myself. What's the best pet in Classic for a hunter? It's definitely this boar. And no one else will convince me otherwise. Damn it, my mind hates me too. Alright, I'm going to call it quits. These are good tusks, Rumor Red. You prove that the strength to hunt the blood scalps. Uh-huh. We must find if Yaniku is dead. I don't know if Yaniku is dead or not in Classic.
What do you
I made a video about this quest line on my channel. Alright, I need to mail some shit. What? I made a gold from vendoring all my shit? Whoa, that's pretty good. Okay, where is the mailbox? Oh, right, this place is a hunter trainer. Viper Sting. Ooh, a new rank of Arcane Shot. Oh my god, it cost a gold. Oh, I need to learn it though. A new rank. I don't really need a new rank of Immolation Trap very much. Especially since all this shit cost a gold. New rank of Men Pet. I use Men Pet. I have to take it.
Victory.
Men Pet's actually pretty good. Considering how much he tanks for me. Okay, where's the mailbox at? Damn, I want to hear you while leveling. Yeah,
Strength and honor.
I'm gonna get ready for bed. I like to read for 2 hours before I go to sleep. And I'm already cutting into that time with this stream. That question ended pretty well. What question?
May your blades never dull.
I wish there was a way to track mailboxes. Ah, here it is. Wow, I actually caught a stream. Hi, Hero. Hello, Bucky. I'm about to take off. It was great talking about myself to all of y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed my favorite kind of conversation. Imagine if they let you track mailboxes. And that reminds me of, like, I talked about how that was a good thing in a video, and Asmongold did a little thing where he... that was pretty funny. That video was great. At least I had the opportunity to catch your stream. Heck yeah. Here, you know what? You alright, brother. Besides content, I didn't know much about you, but after watching the stream, I must admit, you seem like an intelligent and grounded individual, and I love to keep doing it, brew. Why, thank you. You know, I like to think I'm a pretty fair person. Whoa, I sold it. That was pretty good. You know, I've put a lot of effort into making it seem like I'm a grounded person. So I'm glad it comes across that way. Ready for fun is the big gay, you know it. The stream has been very insightful. Yes, you're welcome for all of this free conversational advice. I should let you know I've had a 100% success rate with all these techniques I've talked about. I was a little bit worried when that one girl told me she hated me to my face. I thought, man, this is totally going to mess with my metrics, but nope, even that one turned out well. So, you know, even if someone tells you they straight up hate you, it can still work. Unless they hate you because, you know, you're talking to their girlfriend online, then that's not going to work. Oh, hey, Hero. How you doing? I just did an entire LBRS run where I was guaranteed to get every caster item. None of them dropped. That sounds like you had a fun time. Too many characters, so abbreviated badly. Alright, late night classic. Yeah, it's time to go. Welts, Fel, you need to go to sleep. Don't tell me what to do. Hey, Felplay, you got to catch the stream as I was about to end it. So, goodbye everyone. Wow, why is there 500 people watching this? This is supposed to be a secret stream. You guys aren't supposed to be watching this. Anyways, time for me to go.